Good morning, I'm Alina and I'm going to be emceeing this wonderful day, and I'm really happy that so many people showed up so early in the morning. And we have a lovely view, we have some coffees outside, and I would love to introduce our first speaker of the day, Lisa Loud, who is the Executive Director of Secret Network. Thanks.
Is this, okay, good. I'm using a microphone because I lost my voice yesterday, so it'll be easier to talk to you. The vibe in this room is amazing. I got connected with Anne a few weeks ago, and I could already feel that this was going to be different. So I'm so thrilled to be here with you all. I feel like this is a very warm hug, this room, so we're all part of this nice big group hug. I have so many things that I want to talk to you about today, but I'm not going to get through all of them, I know that. So I made myself a few notes so I remember to hit the really important points. But what I want to start with is to tell you how I got to where I am today and where I started. I started as a math geek. I studied math and then I studied programming, and I wanted to be a programmer, and I achieved that goal pretty early in my career. And I thought, okay, this is great. I can do this. I've reached success. And then over time, I realized there's more to this, and I started to expand. So my first job was at Apple as a programmer, and then I became a developer manager. And I worked with Steve Jobs, so that was kind of inspiring to see what he had done and the heights to which he pushed himself. And that's my first point for you today to remember, like a soundbite, is if you can see it, you can be it. I'm not saying I'm at the Steve Jobs level yet, but throughout my career, I've always seen men, usually, who are doing things that I think, wow, I could do that job. And yet I always pull myself back and say, no, you're small. You know, you're over here, you're little. Don't think about that, you'll just get disappointed. What I've learned and what I want to share with you is that if you recognize something that someone is doing in their career, and you just have that feeling like, wow, I think I could do that someday, follow that, listen to that, because if you can recognize how they're doing what they're doing, it's something that you can do as well, and you will get there if you just want to do that. After Apple, I did a stint at Oracle, a stint at Intuit, Silicon Valley. I just made the rounds of all the companies there. But I kind of landed at PayPal. And when I landed at PayPal, it was because PayPal was doing financial innovation and disruption. And I found that really spoke to me. Being able to take this world, there was no peer-to-peer relationships, financial transactions before PayPal. They brought that in. Before that, it was all just wires. We did wire transfers, right? And the banks did things, and we did cash. But PayPal really disrupted that. And I was entranced by that. I was at PayPal for about 9 years. And I realized that I was very frustrated while I was there. I couldn't figure out why I was so frustrated. But it turns out I kept hitting my head. And now I want to talk to you about, okay, I'm writing a book. It's called Shattering Expectations. And I want to talk a little bit about that today, because what I was hitting my head against was tempered glass. Do you guys know what tempered glass is? What happens when you break tempered glass? It shatters, but it shatters into cubes. And so if you were to break tempered glass, you'd just get a shower of cubes on your head, which is, not something you want. You don't want to go through a plate glass window, but if it's tempered glass, it won't hurt that much. So it's kind of safe, but it's extremely difficult to break. So if you're a woman in tech, or if you're just in tech and not a woman, and you're hitting your head against some ceiling that you don't understand, it might be a tempered glass ceiling. And you're going to hit your head really hard. You're going to knock yourself out before you can break that ceiling. So what I recommend is that you find the places in life where you can find a non-tempered glass ceiling. What happens when you shatter non-tempered glass? it shatters into shards, and shards cut you. I have a lot of scars, and they may not be external ones, but I've been through a lot of very difficult situations. And I'll tell you why I made those choices, but I'll also say that those scars are the reason that I broke through that ceiling, and they're the reason that I'm happy with where I am in my career today. So I also want to talk about privacy a little, because as women, we're in a men's world. I've worked with a lot of traders, worked with a lot of tech bros, a lot of crypto bros, and it's hard. It's really hard to be you're the only woman in a room full of men and to try to have your voice heard. So privacy is important for women because it gives us those safe spaces where we can connect with each other and talk to each other and compare experiences and learn how to get through some of those challenges. We cannot do it alone. We need each other. We need to support each other. And just put a little comment in here about my observation. I'll never understand the male psychology completely, but I'm trying really hard. And there's a difference between how men think in the workplace and how women think in the workplace. Men have a team mentality, a loyalty mentality, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. But what I've observed is that many men on teams will be very loyal to their leader, and women are thinking more collaboratively, like we are all together equal and we all need to rise together. So I need to support all my colleagues. I've been thrown under the bus many, many times by a male colleague who was trying to curry favor with the boss. And that's because it's all about status and competition and being the most important and being loyal to the person with the power. So it's really important to remember that when you're starting out on your career and starting to think about how do I break through some of these glass ceilings. You definitely want to watch your back. You want to watch who is ambitious and who is trying to get ahead and might think that you are an easy way for them to get a leg up. Sad but true. Not the vibe in this room. We're not sharks in this room. We're not dog eat dog, but it does happen. But at the same time, I will say that men need protection too. And I won't say that we're going to protect men whether they like it or not, but I will say that men have a very difficult time in this workplace. And when we have a diverse environment, when we have a mixed group, there's very many opportunities. I listen to a lot of people, both men and women, and I listen to their stories, I listen to their struggles, and everyone needs support. Everyone needs a safe place to listen. And as women, I think we can bring that to the workplace. We can bring those and once we've provided that, you still have to watch your back, but it changes the dynamic in the workplace. It makes it so that you are able to trust your coworkers a little bit more. And when you trust your coworkers, you're in a safer place. So if you can be it, if you can see it, you can be it. And then I'd say, well, let me finish my story about my career. So after PayPal, I was at PayPal for about 9 years, and I made some internal changes. I did great things, and I kind of set. I'm like, okay, I'm here. I get lunch every day, brought in, catered. I have a nice view. I'm never going to get fired. I don't have to do much. But I'm not innovating. I'm not making an impact on the world. So I left PayPal and I joined the world of cryptocurrency. And that's my third point, which is that if you want to get ahead, if you want to break that glass ceiling, you have to find a place where you can, where it's not tempered glass. It's dangerous. It's painful. But if you go outside of your comfort zone, you can actually break through. So in my case, I left PayPal, I went to BitMEX. I don't know if you guys know BitMEX in 2017, but it was 55 men, and then they hired me. And the experiences, the stories I have, Arthur Hayes was a rebel. He still is a rebel. He paid his dues, got criminal indictments, house arrest for 1 year, oh my gosh, poor him. He now has billions of dollars. But it was interesting working for Arthur because he just thumbed his nose at everything, and he was a traitor. I would not say that was a fun experience. However, now I can say that I was on the ground floor. Like I was at BitMEX when it did nothing, and I helped it to grow to 6 billion in notional trading per day. That's not something I'm telling you guys to brag. I'm telling you guys because you can claim that. You can say, I was there, I earned my stripes, and I helped to make that happen. Don't be afraid to claim things. As women, we often want to be perfectly honest about what we did and not overblow it any at all. But we do ourselves a disservice. What we need to do is claim what we've done, claim it big. And then another thing is that men are very focused. A lot of men are very straight line focused. They're single focused. They do step A and then they do step B in their career, and they follow a straight line to get to a particular goal. As women, we sometimes take a break to have kids. And then we try something else. We do a lifestyle business. All of these things help us, well-round us, make us better in the workplace. So claim that. If you've started your own business, even if it's just, I babysat for my friends when we all had little kids, claim that. Say, I started a business doing this was my revenue. I built the revenue from this to that over 6 months. Claim it, because you learn something from that. And that's something that some of your colleagues who follow the straight path cannot claim. You have to use everything in your career. So see it, be it, claim it. What else do I want to tell you? I'm trying to pick just the best things. I feel like we were making a Faustian bargain a lot of the time, like right now with the US, with what's happened with the election. How many of us really feel good about being a woman and having the results of the election, and yet we have this amazing outcome for our industry. So it's a Faustian bargain. It's something that we have to see the good in. We have to move forward with the benefits that are there. We don't have to agree with everything there, but we do want to claim what we can take out of that silver lining. All right, let's see. I'm going to go back to my end run. So actually, I'm finishing my story about my career. So I was at BitMEX, then I left BitMEX for regulatory reasons. I didn't want to be in jail, basically. So I just thought it's better to be free. So then I went to Shapeshift. I was CEO of Shapeshift, and then the pandemic hit. But I've worked with Charles Hoskinson, I've worked with Eric Voorhees, I've worked with Justin Sun, with Arthur Hayes, and then a Chinese billionaire. I've worked with a lot of luminaries and people who thought a lot of themselves in this industry and have been successful, either through luck, mostly through luck, or through brilliance. And I've just got to see a lot of them and how they got where they are. And there's no magic to it. It's just they're claiming it. So claim it yourself. But I would say you can do, in order to get your career ahead, you can do an end run. So you can go around, do an industry reshuffle. If you're in an industry where it's kind of straight line, go somewhere where it's innovative and cutting edge, because you can really get ahead that way. If you're stuck in your career, start a business. You learn so much by starting a business, and all of that goes towards your end goal. My end goal has always been to stand here and talk about this stuff, because all the stuff that I've done in my career, all the accolades and awards and everything, they're great, but I always think that will give me a bigger audience to share my experience and help other people. And this is really, Jillian said it earlier, she said, this is the first time that you're talking about what you really care about. So thank you for giving me this opportunity. And it's practice for the future. So let me see, I just want to make sure I've said my things, and then I want to take some questions. So see it, if you can see it, you can be it. There's a difference between tempered glass and non-tempered glass. Choose the path where you can break through. Choose the risk where you can catapult yourself to something new. Make Faustian bargains when you need to. Claim it, claim everything you've done. And finally, I guess the final thing is follow the flow of money. If you don't understand politics in the workplace, there's a very quick shortcut. Figure out who's paying who, figure out where the money is flowing and how people are getting their money, and you will understand everyone's motivation. Secret trick. All right, I thank you so much for your attention, for giving me this opportunity today. And I actually have 5 more minutes if anyone would like to ask some questions. Yes.
Yes. Firstly, thank you for sharing your experience. I guess my question is, you mentioned claiming it, and how do I navigate that? As everyone can hear me.
It's for the video.
So I'm just wondering, as an individual who knows how I contribute, I feel that I don't need to claim it of like having to show people what I've done. So how do you suggest navigating that? Because I know my worth and my contributions.
Yes.
But it feels like we are in a world or industry where it is needed for everyone to, show what they've done.
Yeah. That's a great question. And there's a time for you to, you don't always have to talk. You don't always have to be pushing yourself forward. But there's a moment when it makes a difference, and recognize that moment. Have your intuition out, have your feelers out, and know when the right people are in the room. And if you don't say something, they won't know. Just look around the room and see who doesn't know what I've done here. What do I need to say to make sure they know? I work with one man who's not very good, but he talks about how good he is all the time.
Just one man.
Yeah, just one of them, maybe 1 or 2. And everyone that I know thinks that he's amazing. We were talking about this on the car over here. And he's not, but everyone believes he is, because everything that comes out of his mouth is, well, I'm so good and I'm the only one doing this, and you can see that this guy can't do it at all, and I'm so smart. And everyone believes him. So take that into account. If you talk about yourself well, people will believe you.
And how do you navigate that fine line of like talking about what you've achieved versus bragging, which
Brag. Whatever you think is too much is not too much. Claim it.
Okay, thank you. So I have a question. So you said to change careers, to go for new stuff if you feel like you have gotten to tempered glass. So usually, for example, what I've seen in my life, if I change career, if I go to a new way, I will 100% get at some point the imposter syndrome, because I've just started doing it. What to do with this? How to deal with this?
We all struggle with imposter syndrome. We all do. Even men. I think men have a different response to it. Often, as women, we tend to say, I'm not going to say that because I just don't know if I know that. You have to train yourself to overcome that and just step out there, claim it, do it, act as though you are the expert in the room.
Yeah, but what to do if I just cannot understand if it's imposter syndrome or I'm just that bad in something particular? We need to be realistic with ourselves as well, and to be able to criticize ourselves and in order to grow. So how do I know? Am I too critical?
Let me tell you a story. So I was at PayPal, and at PayPal everyone has desks in the open. It's all open, even the VPs. So I was very small peon at PayPal. I was an intern. And I got put on a corner desk like this. And the person in the desk next to me was a VP. So every day I would come to work, I'd sit at my desk, and I'd watch him. And I'd be like, he has no idea what he's doing. He's not very good at this. And I'd sit there and I'd be like, I could do that. I could really do that. And that experience has replayed over and over again. I've seen so many people in positions of power who don't have the faintest clue how to do their jobs, and they're not very good at them. but all they do well is show up and be confident. So what I tell people, actually I used to tell people, when you walk into a party and you're like, I don't know anyone, I don't know, just remember every single person in the room is feeling that way. Everyone is hoping someone will talk to them, someone will want to talk to them, someone will start a conversation, and they won't feel like, I'm the only one here who doesn't know what I'm doing. Every single person is feeling that way. Same is true at work. Every single person is battling imposter syndrome. The only difference between the ones who are successful and the ones who aren't are the ones who pretend that they don't have it. So I know you're concerned about being realistic. You don't need to be concerned. Most of the people who are successful in industry are not very good.
Yay.
Thank you. I'm gonna have my women on my team watch this video for sure. Thank you. As a man, I'm here actually to learn how to help women leaders in my team to do this. What could I do? How can I help them?
First of all, I love that you asked this question. It's amazing. I guess I would ask you, can you see the difference between the way your male colleagues act and the way your female colleagues act?
I agree with you. They're more modest. They don't want to take risks.
Yeah.
I try to help, but I can see they're risk averse and they're modest, like you're saying.
Can you help them understand how men are thinking? How their male colleagues are thinking? And can you help them understand the behaviors that they're seeing? Because that's what confuses us often, is that we watch and then we try to emulate. We're like, okay, gotta be this, but we don't get it right. We see that men are doing this thing, like they're competing with each other, and we try, and it doesn't work because we don't understand the underlying motivations. So I would say, as a man, the more you can help your women leaders understand why men are acting in specific situations the way they are, the more help you'll be to them.
Okay.
The other thing you can do is give them. I also want to add to that in saying the other thing you can do is give them the room to screw up, because a lot of men screw up constantly in the workplace, and it is it's a characteristic of most male-led workplaces that messing up is something that is highly tolerated among men and not tolerated among people who are not men. So keeping that in mind and creating additional and vocal and obvious liberty for women to be able to screw up and learn in your care as a leader is something that is crucial.
That's a great point.
Thanks.
Could I add something? Sorry. Your comment just made me think. A couple of years ago, I was at a conference, a diversity conference in Dublin, where I'm from, and I was speaking to this head of diversity for Dell or something. He had the part, he had the long grey hair, and he was very cool. He was, just super cool. And I was talking about quotas in politics, and I very much believe that there should be quotas, because in Ireland, if we didn't have quotas you have to have so many women candidates, it would take 400 years to equalise the parliament, and the parliament runs the country. So it sounds it's not a very blunt instrument, but it works. I was saying this to him, and he said, why would you promote a woman only to see her fail? I went, what? I was so shocked. I didn't have a reply from him. I said, no, you promote a woman and then you support her. So whether she fails or not, you support her. And that's the difference. You do promote women, going back to you, but you support them whether they fail or they don't fail. So they're not sort of left there, oh my God, I'm up here, and what do I do next? Whether you fail or succeed, you have the support. So you just prompted that thought for me, so thank you.
Room to fail. I'm going to add that to my talk, actually. Thank you. All right, I think we're at time, so thank you so much for having me. Thank you for the opportunity. And we're on this journey together, so claim it.
Claims.